Hi everyone, Michael Casey here with Mainline. I'm here at our Experience Center in Winter Park, Florida. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Avantis, Allen Heath's newest digital console, 64 channel, 42 bus mixer. One of the first things you'll see when you walk up to the Avantis is these huge 15.6 inch capacitive touchscreens, full HD. The Avantis is kind of inspired by the D-Live series. What Allen Heath's done is taken some of the tactile controls, and for both cost effectiveness and scalability through firmware updates and user configuration, they've taken some of those controls, put them onto the touch screens. Another thing that's kind of related to the touch screens, you'll see that the LED strips that illuminate the surface of the console are now embedded in the armrest as opposed to the top of the console. Now, typically you'd see something like this up at the top of the console or on like a gooseneck light. But with these big capacitive touch screens, we decided to put it into the armrest to reduce the glare. Because if you look at the console, the only thing that really needs to be illuminated is the fader strips. Everything else is backlit. The buttons, the knobs, and obviously the LCD screens are all backlit. One really cool thing is you can adjust the light balance from white to purple. You can also dim the LEDs, any of the knobs, to keep the lighting guys happy. And the other thing you'll notice on the front of the Avantis, obviously there's 2 banks of 12 faders for you to work with, completely configurable, 6 layers on each bank. And Allen Heath has this strip assign function, really easy drag and drop to bring your channel down to the fader to assign the channels in whatever order you'd like for your workflow. So the cool thing about Allen Heath's strip assign functionality is that you have 144 control points for faders on your console between all your fader banks and layers. 24 physical faders on layer A. You can put all your money channels on layer A, but every other channel can be just a button click away. So another thing that can really improve your workflow on the Avantis is the user-defined keys. You got 24 soft keys on the surface, 16 on the right, you got another 6 in the middle, and a couple on the left that can be configured to do whatever function you need. Anything from delay tap tempo to scene control. Another handy feature on the Avantis is the fader strip rotary encoders. You see a rotary encoder above each fader. They can be used to control gain, pan, or send to mix level for the selected mix. There's also 3 other selections on these soft keys that are user definable. They can control parametric EQ controls, comp thresholds, a whole range of options. Under the armrest, you'll find a USB socket that can be used for storing and recalling show files, updating the firmware, or stereo playback and recording. Next to that, you'll also find an 1/8 inch as well as a 1/4 inch jack for headphone monitoring. One place where the Avantis really shines is effects. It comes with 12 stereo effects engines for reverbs, chorus, echo, and other effects. And if you get the D-Pack upgrade, you have access to Allen Heath's deep processing premium effects, such as compressor modelers, tube preamp modelers, and the Dynate processors. Another cool Allen Heath feature is the automatic mic mixer, which comes on the Avantis. You can put up to 64 channels into the AMM. This will really help you reduce your chances of feedback in those situations where you have panel discussions or Q&A with a live PA system. It'll take all of those open mic channels that you have, help you reduce the overall gain level to reduce your chances of feedback. Another thing I want to touch on is tie lines. It's a really cool feature of Allen Heath consoles. With the Avantis, you get 64 channels of mixing, but you can connect hundreds of channels of I/O into the console. If you need to just get one channel from point A to point B, from one stage box to another stage box on the other end of the building, but you don't need gain control or preamp control or anything like that, you could use a tie line to route it from point A to point B. And the best part, it won't burn any of your 64 mixing channels. You can use that for your front of house mix, your monitors mix. You're not going to be wasting those channels on routing. So if we take a look at the back of the Avantis, you can see on the left we've got 2 I/O ports for network I/O cards such as Dante, Waves, Matty, Giga Ace, Fiber Ace, and others. These are all the same cards that the D-Live series uses. And you can see also we have 12 mic line inputs, XLR jack, as well as 12 line outputs. We've also got a few AES connections, 2 AES stereo outputs, as well as a stereo input. Word clock connection if you're using a master BNC clock. S-Link port, which will let you connect to many of Allen Heath's networked stage boxes, as well as other consoles. You can connect directly to another Avantis, an SQ, or even a D-Live system to share channels. And then we've got some utility networks for control if you want to connect it to a Wi-Fi network for iPad use, or to an IP series controller just for control functions. And there's a USB socket on the back that you can use for a flash drive to store and recall show files, update firmware, as well as stereo playback and recording. So here on the table, I have the GX4816 stage box, which is a new stage box Allen and Heath released around the same time as the Avantis. It's a really powerful tool, 48 mic line inputs, 16 outputs, plus 2 DX expander ports, one of which can be used to feed an ME personal monitoring system, all within a small and compact package. One Ethernet cable back to your console with a GX connection into your S-Link port, and you're good to go. So as far as personal monitoring, there's a couple different options of workflows with the Avantis. There's Allen and Heath's ME personal monitoring system, which we can send channels to a ME personal mixer to a musician on stage. They can mix their own headphones right there. And we also have the IP series of controllers for a more professional setup. If you have a monitor engineer that just needs to alleviate some of his workflow, the IP series can work as a remote control to a mix on the console. So you can have a monitor engineer mixing monitors, but you can give the musicians control to that mix as well. The Avantis is a really powerful console that makes a great solution for houses of worship, production companies, and theater. If you need help deciding what's right for your application, reach out to us today at mainlinemarketing.com.